Hello people, I'm Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK, MORIAH GARCIA, and CORTNEY WRIGHT. We just had the good fortune of watching Avengers Infinity War. We're gonna try our best to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, also because the embargo said we have to keep this spoiler-free, and we'll have a separate video for our spoiler discussion. I want to start off with my concern upon watching the trailer. Like, obviously we were all really excited seeing the Infinity War trailer, all the Infinity War commercials, but I had an immediate concern because of just the size of the cast and how many locations there were in the trailer. Every time I see that, I go, oh my gosh, like they're doing a lot. This might feel all over the place. And that did happen a little bit, but I think that given the monumental task that these filmmakers had, they actually managed to tell an entertaining story still.
They blended them together really well in the sense of following the story and the fact that you're following the stones.
It was easy to follow, exactly how you said, that it wasn't all over the place. I like that it was a little more slow pace of introducing different groups of characters. So I thought it was easy to grasp.
It moved at a really good pace, and I enjoyed seeing the different worlds and planets and scenery and stuff like that. It just kind of enriched the whole experience.
It's really exciting seeing all these characters kind of come together, characters interacting with other characters that haven't interacted before in this universe.
Yeah.
That's really cool because there's obviously going to be like personalities clashing or getting along in ways that you don't expect. The use of their powers I thought was really cool throughout the film as well. I can't say how, obviously.
This was the first time it was really evident to me that the entire span of phase 1 and phase 2 both ran together like the comic book series. To see them all come together now, I thought it was like seamless.
An epic.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was definitely an epic film. It
Yeah.
felt like an opera in a way. I don't think a film like this has ever been done before. To the best of my recollection, the only other thing I can think of is a really bad movie called Mortal Kombat Annihilation, like where you have a bunch of characters crammed into this single film. And even Mortal Kombat couldn't get all the characters quite in there because there was so many. They managed to get everyone in there. And they each had their own screen time, and it felt like they were part of this story as opposed to just cameo appearances. I thought the action was actually really exciting to watch. When it comes to fight scenes, you often get camera work where you can't quite see what's going on. I think they managed to strike a balance between that kind of Bourne Identity style and allowing us to appreciate the action and the choreography. There's a few moments where I was like, it's like cut, 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 and I can't quite follow the beauty of the choreography. For the most part, they did a pretty good job here. Do you guys have any thoughts on the fight scenes at all?
Well, just that it's epic, and I think I can say this because you actually see the battle in the trailer, but that bit, I was just like, mind blown.
One of my difficulties of watching films like this, where there is a lot of fighting, it's a turnoff for me when it's so much fighting and I just lose interest because of it, because I'm just not engaged anymore. But because the fight scenes incorporated so much of like the personality and the specialty of each character, that's what gets to shine, and that's what makes them stand out more than any other fight scene. Yeah. Is seeing their own superpower and what they bring to the table.
Yeah. The fight scenes were so powerful when you got to see people working together who you'd never seen fighting alongside each other. It was really engaging, and you find yourself rooting for these people that you're like, oh my God, she's fighting with her, or he's fighting with that person, and it's just like great.
So visual effects. The one thing I feel confident about talking about is Thanos, because you see him in the trailer. I actually had reservations about Thanos when I first saw him. Like, some of the visual effects looked good, some of it looked bad, but in the film, they did an excellent job. He looks lifelike, like a person.
He does. He really did.
I was just blown away.
It looked like it was all makeup. But you know that it, was more than that. He looked like one of the characters, just like Drax or Gamora or Mantis. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, like they really brought him to life. The largeness of this persona.
They did a fantastic and seamless job of emphasizing that size disparity between Thanos and everybody else. Like his hand compared to everyone else's body. Like he was clearly a giant character. It didn't feel fake, it didn't feel cartoony or like cheap CGI. Like, you can tell where they put their money. That being said, there were other parts where the visual effects, not as much money was spent, and it was like, oh, but now it's drawing attention to itself. I'm not gonna say what it is, but like, there were some moments that were questionable.
I agree with that statement. All of the explosions and what we were used to seeing with like the buildings blowing up and the spaceships flying, those elements were every bit as exciting as you expected them to be. There's just one thing that could have been smoothed out just a little bit more, but other than that, visual effects, definitely like
it was
99.
It was fantastic. Now, in this group of 4 people, I would say that this is the critical center right here. and that's like, the more chilled out area, these two. So how did you guys feel about the visual effects?
I think I actually agree with you, and I'm surprised because usually I'm not the person that notices enough visual effects. But there were certain moments where I was like, what? I noticed that, and I'm not the person that notices things.
I forgive it only because you're dealing with a lot of $20 million plus actors in this.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
You have a huge cast of people who their paychecks are pretty big to have all these name talent actors in this film and have all that. Like, one thing I can safely say is there is a ton of visual effects in this movie, like almost wall to wall.
But I didn't feel like it was too much.
No, it was. It went with the story.
It definitely went along with the story, and it served the story. A lot of times, you'll go to a film and you just feel like they're just throwing an action sequence or a CG character or just like blowing things up just because. This was all earned.
Let's talk about the comedy for a second. On the spectrum, right, you have, what's a super serious, okay, let's say Dark Knight is super serious. And on the other end, you've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Like, that's your spectrum of humor. I feel like this was, like, obviously veering way more towards Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but they dialed it back enough that it wasn't, like, in your face, joke. And
Not like Ragnarok.
Not like Ragnarok, yeah. There's a lot of people who loved the Thor Ragnarok humor, and I can understand where they're coming from.
I didn't hate it.
I think that a lot of people disagreed with the humor in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think that was worse than Thor Ragnarok.
I agree. I actually really liked Ragnarok. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
First of all, I really liked it. I just thought that there were opportunities for less.
Yes.
But I do agree with you. Volume 2 was... It was too much for me.
Yeah.
They managed to find a balance here where it wasn't too much. I was very relieved that there was comedy in the film because all of the trailers, or most of them anyway, felt so dark, grim, and serious. And I was like, is this going to be really dark like the whole movie?
I'm going to need some tissues. That's what I was concerned with.
Yeah. So we've covered the gamut of stuff without talking about much. So I feel like we did.
Our feelings.
But I mean, obviously we liked it. Okay, fine. Okay,
I
fine.
liked it. I definitely liked it.
That I liked it.
It was a good film.
Go see it. Go see it. Go see it.
This was a movie that was entertaining.
Yeah, it really was though. I felt thoroughly entertained. I felt thoroughly moved. I didn't feel like it was a super long movie. I was just like, "Ooh, this is fun."
I didn't. Before I even got to the theater, I didn't sleep well last night. I was so anxious. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so excited, but I'm so nervous because it's something that we've been waiting for so long. Definitely worth the wait.
I can say that I definitely liked it a lot. I can't say exactly what my score is. I don't know exactly what it is yet because I feel like I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
Because it's like we just saw it. And I don't want to like spit out a score and then like things come to mind later on, refrigerator logic, or I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't like that so much. And then if I feel differently, or maybe I liked it more.
Refrigerator logic?
You never heard that before?
I have not.
Okay, for those of you guys who don't know, refrigerator logic is where like you watch a movie and you love it, you come home, you go open the fridge to make a sandwich, and you're like, wait a second, that sucked. That's refrigerator logic. So far, I'm just gonna keep it as ambiguous because I liked it, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna watch it again this Thursday.
For how much was covered in this film and for how much each character was able to like display their specialty and everything, you would think it would feel a lot more dragging and longer than what the film felt like.
Yeah.
And I think it was amazing. I didn't feel that it was lagging in any way, and I was thoroughly engaged the entire film.
You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for listening to this whole conversation. Make sure you guys follow all these folks on the social media. You can find it over there somewhere, I believe. Hopefully I'm pointing in the right direction.
Just remember, you pointed that way if
Yeah.
you're not.
Otherwise I'm pointing at a wall. Thanks so much. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below about our thoughts. And I don't know. There's nothing you can really say if you haven't seen it yet because this is a spoiler-free review. So, but anyway, thanks for hanging out. I love y'all. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Right, Garcia.
Courtney Wright.
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.